Hi guys, it's Joy with AGA Novel Thoughts, and I'm back to give you the April 2020 new releases in Kindle Unlimited. First, before we get started, I would like for us to go ahead and take a moment to hit that little subscribe button, or maybe even like this video. So if you could do that for me, I would greatly appreciate it. The first book we have this month is The Sin of Kissing You by Maya Hughes. This is a second chance romance, and what happened was, this guy made a split-second decision that ruined his and the girl he loves lives, and now he's going to do everything he can to get her back. And I'm sure he's going to do some so woony gestures. And we're all going to be like, I love you so much, you know? Because it's basically how it happens. And if it doesn't happen that way, I'm sure we'll all just be sad. Next up, we have Bad Luck Club by A.R. Casella and Denise Grover Swank. If you don't already know, I love Denise Grover Swank. And so I'm sure this is going to be a great book in a series. I believe this is the third in the series. But it's an opposites attract romance. The hero has a bad reputation now because his father was a shady businessman. And he turned him into the feds. And now he's just kind of like down on his luck and kind of wants to be left alone. And he's grumpy. And I love a grumpy hero. I don't know why. It's just like, who doesn't love to try to fix him and make him less grumpy, you know? But yes. So she is Miss I don't want a relationship. She doesn't want a relationship because she's been there and done that twice. And so she's determined not to. And they both really don't like each other at first. And they are banging each other's heads and they're nothing alike. And they're like, finally, they just give in to that temptation. Next up, we have Crave Thy Neighbor by Tegan Hunter. This is a roommates to lovers romance and a single parent. I'm not sure which is the single parent by reading the description, but one of them is, in fact, a single parent. So she moves in with him whenever times are rough, and she's like, you can't fall in love with your roommate. That's just going to make things complicated. Lo and behold, what do you think happens? I'll give you one guess. Give you one shot. Okay, so that was supposed to be my Slim Shady, and I have no rhythm, so sorry. I don't have a whole lot for you on this next one. It's called Not Pretending Anymore. I know it's roommates to lovers, and that the person looking for a roommate had given up hope until someone came knocking on the door, and everything changed from there. I don't know who needed a roommate, the boy or the girl, or hero or heroine, but one of them did, and something's going to happen, and they're going to fall in love. There's a whole lot of non-information for you. I'm fully aware of that. But that's basically all that I have as far as the blurb goes. But it is by V. Keeland and Penelope Ward. So you know it's guaranteed to be a great book to read. Right? Right. Okay. The next one is by Lauren Rowe. She has 2 books releasing next month, and we're going to put them both on the list. The first one is Falling Out of Love with You, and I don't remember the name of the second one, but it's like Falling Into Love with You, possibly, something like that, but there'll be links. So the girl doesn't like the guy at first, and he's a band on tour, and she has to go with them. She tries to resist him, and she's like, ooh, I don't like you. But she really does like him, and he's like all sexy because he's a famous musician, and they just have that aura, that vibe to him, you know? And so she just can't resist it. And I'm sure there's going to be a cliffhanger in the first one, but don't worry because there's not a big time gap between the two. I think maybe a week and a half, maybe 2 weeks max. And it's guaranteed to be wonderful because Lauren Rowe wrote it, and I'm obsessed with her. So read it based solely on the fact that Lauren Rowe wrote it. You don't need to know any other details. Next up, we have Earn Your Extra Credit by Megan Quinn. So at first I thought this was going to be like a teacher romance or a student teacher. It's not. It's about a guy who's been trying to go on a date with this girl, but she doesn't realize he's asking her on dates. And so she was like, oh, you're my wingman. And she went home with someone else. And then she's all like, oh, well, oh yes, so they go to a wedding and they're both there, and she has someone from high school show up, and so she gets him to be her fake fiance or fake boyfriend. So it's like all the different tropes all in one place. And so basically anything you love, you're gonna find it here. What more could a girl ask for? Everything she wants in one book, and not to mention the gorgeous cover, right? Right. So you need to read it. Next up, we have Mind to Guard by Kennedy L. Mitchell. I've read the first one in this series, and it's fantastic. And so I really am looking forward to reading this book. It's the third in the series, but they don't have to be read to understand what's going on. Read in order. So this one, we have our heroine who is accused of murders she did not commit. So she's determined to prove herself innocent. I mean, who wouldn't be, right? So then she has a hot FBI agent, one that broke her heart years ago, and he's to be the only person to help her solve this. And can you imagine waking up and having your house surrounded by SWAT and you're a perfectly innocent bystander? Boy, bye. No, I could not imagine that. Next up, we have The Freshman by Monica Murphy. And what we have here looks like a classic tale of Romeo and Juliet, of a parent feuding and you can't be together type of situation. I mean, who doesn't love a little bit of competition? I mean, forbiddenness from their parents. Especially if your parents say, no, you can't date him. Guess what? You're gonna buy. Watch me. But, yes. So, she keeps running into this guy, and she doesn't know who he is at first, but then she finds out that he goes to her college, and that he's just everywhere she goes, and then she finds out that their dads are rivals, and it all just goes down from there. I mean, it's going to be good, no doubt. And plus, Monica's writing is wonderful. So I'm sure you're going to really enjoy it, especially if you like the drama. In college, romances always seem to have the drama. Next up, we have From the Embers by Ali Martinez. I'm not real sure how this is going to work, to be honest with you, but we know that there was a house fire, and the guy was determined to save his wife, only to find out that the woman in his arms was not his wife. And so him and this lady are the only survivors of this house fire. And their love was forged in embers. And it's just supposed to be romantic suspense. So I'm not real sure if we find out that someone set it on fire on purpose. If it was just an accident, like an electrical fire. So I'm not real sure how exactly that's going to happen, but I'm sure it's going to be very good and interesting. Everything I've read by Ali has been really good, and it's really beautiful writing, you know. Some are fun and flirty, so I haven't read any of her romantic suspense. I did read one that was more heavy emotionally, so I'm sure this one's going to have the heavy emotional side to it as well, and not so much the fun. Hee, this is so cute. So, yep. So yeah, if you wanted this suspense, it's probably more like not murder suspense, but like suspense as in you don't know what's happening or who did what and why everything is happening. Finally, we have Rebellious by Christy Marie. This is a college sports romance, and it looks like they're originally friends, and they're like, oh, these are the rules. We can't break the rules. We can't be together. La 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 la. And then guess what? They broke the rules. So now they're not who they were originally because everything changed because they crossed that line, crossed right over it, just plowed right on it. And so now everything is changed and different, and they don't know how to set things back to where they were, but they also realize that there's more than ever expected. Maybe they'll fall in love. Maybe they won't. And this is all just big fat rambling from Joy. Who knows? All right, you guys, that's it for this month. Make sure you subscribe and like this video and comment below on which one you want to read. I look forward to hearing from you. I'll chat with you in the comments. Bye.